computer, lights.
Hey guys, good morning. And we're late this morning, and I know that. Just having some back problems this morning, so ran a little over on the morning stuff because I was stretching my back out. Because sitting in this chair, I've been sitting in this chair for the whole week now, and it's just difficult on my back. So we're just trying to kind of stretch the back out a little before I end up sitting here for 2 hours. So there you go. So we're a little late this morning, but that's all right. We'll get there. So this morning I'm going to be working on the final bits of this character animation. I literally have only one puppet left that's screwed up, and I'm not sure what's going on. But I have a new plan this morning, and that is I'm going to take an existing character that works and duplicate it in Photoshop. And then that's what we're going to do. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get ourselves started on this. So I actually am still very enamored with Character Animator. I know you're going to find that to be difficult to believe, but it's true. We're going to take, so she works, right? We know she works. She works just fine. We got her to work earlier. So I'm going to export the puppet, which gives all of my information on her and everything like that. I'm going to export this to the wrong folder. I'm going to export this in. I'll probably do something more like this. There you go. I'm going to export this into my Geekway Homes folder. I'm going to export that puppet by itself. So that puppet's now on its way out. We're going to now call this, we're going to export a duplicate of this puppet. We're going to call it Bill Main. Okay. Now what I've done is I've exported the puppet, and now I've re-imported the puppet. Or rather, I just saved it twice. So this puppet's saved. She's not going anywhere. But what we are going to do is take her out. And we're going to take this dude character. He's already loaded into Photoshop, so it shouldn't be a problem. We're going to import, and we're going to just do this again. We're going to import Bill Main, which is an identical puppet to the girl front, right? This ensures that I'm going to keep all of the components here that are identical, and then the structure will be the same, and I won't have to worry about it. So here is Bill Main. We're just going to go on ahead and move this puppet over here, and we're going to work here. We already know the rigging is correct here, so all I need to do is just replace all the artwork from here and put it here, and that's it. So let's start with his body. Okay. Paste it in. Apparently underneath the eyes. That's fine. kind of creepy when you do it this way. All right. Okay, so we're moving the body down for the puppet and replacing torso with it. Okay, so this will be unlike the other one, he has hips, so to speak. So we'll copy that. Put that in here. All right. So underneath this torso, I'll put hips. We're going to literally 1-to-1 match. Now it's silly. We're just going to take this. His neck is a separate unit, so we can do that. If the good news with this is that when this works, if this works, we'll see whether this works or not. We'll be able to have parallax while we're at it, because this puppet had parallax. If you guys remember what parallax means, that's where parts of the body move by just sliding two cells back and forth, right? And it gives the effect of a head turning or something like that. And so, work. There we go. And this shadow probably doesn't need to be there either. All right, so his mid controls now are set for the midsection. And we got this background hair. All of this stuff doesn't need to be there anymore because there's just really only one piece of background here, and that's this. And all right, that's the only piece we've got. That's hair of any sort. So then we can just take all of these, which luckily I have saved this as a different puppet now, because that was a lot of work to get her to do that. We will just do BG. Okay. This allows that to occur. Now we will go on to the front to all of his upper body has been moved over, so we can close that. Now let's go to the head, right? What does she have that we're dealing with on the headpiece here? So she does have face. So we'll take the face. Paste it here. When I see her face, though, there's one thing that was different. And that was her face is not considered, it doesn't have the plus in front of it, which means that it's not considered neutral. Okay, so we've got her ears too. You know what, we could probably make those ears work, and I'm okay with that. Right now, he just looks like he's got huge ears. That's awesome. But putting the ears in might not be bad, because we could probably do a little bit of parallax with it. But I'll just repurpose her ears for him, and we'll get back to there in a second. I don't need the shadow, so we're good there, right? Okay. It just says that it's girlfront.psd. I feel like I'm worried. So I'm going to save it. Yeah. So we do. It's worrying me, guys. Because it didn't come back over here as Bill name. Well, you know what? We'll never know whether this works or not until we try. This is not where we want it to be. I gotta move it over here. It's so tiny on my monitor. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it still looks like it's holding all of the concepts together. And poor dude here, he is so screwed up. It's not even funny. So we're just going to wipe him out. Okay, Bill seated. Make sure we're still working on him over here. Good. With his big ears. He's all ears. Okay. So the next thing we want to do, we've got that under control. The talk components, maybe. I mean, obviously, any of these talk controls aren't going to work right with him. But I think his mouth controls weren't a problem. So we can just take this entire folder and move it over. Or not. Maybe that doesn't work anymore. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. Oh, that's obnoxious. Okay, we'll take the talk controls. And we'll just have to take this entire folder and delete it. talking about mouth, we'll take everything that's in the mouth section here. Woo! And then we take that and we move it over. Well, that's irritating. Like, I'm not seeing it switch. It's like Photoshop just gets stupider and stupider every time. There we go. All right. Okay, so all of his mouth controls have moved over. We're going to look at his right eye. We're going to take all three of these. Right, we're going to move them over. They went straight to the wrong spot. That's right. Move them in here, and then we'll take a look at where we're located in here. Because it looks like right blink goes in its own folder. So we'll delete that. All right, eyeball goes right here. So we'll delete that. And the right pupil goes right here. And I'm noticing is not in fact marked as plus. So we'll take that out. And that leaves the right lash, which I actually will keep, and I'll tell you why. So every scream of someone who says, "What is that thing?" will echo in your perfect ears. Okay, I'm done. I'm not done. I'll never be done. It's all good. Okay, right is set. And we'll come back and fix right in a minute. Now, our little, our lady person here has freckles, but he does not. So I'm going to take the nose and move it down. Isn't he pretty, though? And then we'll do that. And we'll fix the left eye next. There we go. Okay, so here's a left blink. We'll do left pupil. And we need to remember to take out the plus. And here is the left eyeball. All right. And again, the left lash, which I will keep for right now because I actually want to put an overlay over his eyes so that there's some blockage whenever his when his eyes go back and forth, because there's no blocking it right now. So his eyes just turn, and it's like, and I'm going to fix that. So the thought is, I might as well, if I'm going to have to go in here and redesign this character from the ground up anyway, I might as well do it right. So we're going to do it right. Okay, so the only real things that are left are the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, and the bangs. So I'm going to take the right eyebrow and left eyebrow, because I know that they're together. I'll move them over here, and I'll stick them right there. And they go right here. And then we just delete these two. Right? And this is the back of her hair, which I don't see any reason to have these two at all. He doesn't actually have that. So what we'll do, I don't know. I mean, we could do left and right and have different gravity on each one. No, I don't want to do that. That's just complicated. So we're going to do that. And the last thing we're going to take is his bangs and move them over. So if you're wondering, I tried very hard last night to get this guy to work, and he just kept crashing. So, all right. We've now successfully moved all the pieces over. He's mimicking literally my other characters. So we're just going to say, yes, we'll save him because just in case. And now we're going to go in here and let's fix this guy up. First things first, let's take that nose and mimic. I need to turn those eyes off because I'm having a hard time seeing what's going on. All right, okay. So we're at the nose. We're just going to mimic what's already here. Okay. And this will give me a nose to work with. I know you're all shocked. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm just going to put in just a little bit of highlight on it because it's going to make it look nice. All right. And then I'll put in that there. And that'll help us kind of get this sort of straightened out like that. Works. Perfect. Good. No problem. The thing we want to make sure, though, is that we want to go to the face and erase it. I want to erase all of this background now because it's not going to help us any because I'm going to do the parallax. So we can do a small amount to the edge like so. But the rest of this is going to have to go away in favor of a new matrix. It's new matrix. My God, man. Do you know what you're saying? According to myth, the earth was created in 6 days. Now, watch out. Here comes Genesis. We'll do it for you in 6 minutes. Really, Dr. McCoy, you must learn to govern your passions. They will be your undoing. Logic suggests. Logic? My God, this man's talking about logic. We're talking about universal Armageddon. You green-blooded inhuman. I am literally quoting Star Trek 2. I'm a horrible human, and I know it, but that's okay. It's all good. All right. Getting in here, and all we're doing is we're just making the parts of Sally work here. Make sure that there's nothing on the face underneath there except for the nose. And this is because there's that parallax function that we had just figured out how to do with Sally. We're going to do that with this guy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take these huge monster honkin' ears and make them not so monster and honkin'. But part of the charm of this guy is that his ears stick out. So I found a picture of my dad when he was really, really little. Not little, but I mean like a awkward teenager. And his ears were out like this. And my uncle's ears were out like this. And as they got older, their ears kind of came back. But I sort of started to like the idea of my dad and his goofy ears. And so now I'm into this goofy ear thing. So we're just going to put in the goofy ears here and roll with it. All right, so we're going to take there and you two. There. Now we'll go through. Just decided that was the... I mean, is it appropriate, okay, to say that your dad was adorable? I mean, because he was. He was just like awkward, gawky, very funny looking sort of fella. I mean, he's becoming adorable again as he ages. You know, he's a beloved fellow now. You know, he went through his cool phase, and now he's into adorable again. Which is, it works. He wears it well. There's always something like that. All right. Now we're going to just do this and this. We're just going to seal up this face a little. Make sure that it's nice and clean before we go to publication with it. I feel like I wasn't quite ready to deal with it earlier. So now we'll go into the left eye and let's fix some of this stuff. First of all, let's get rid of this lash because we don't need it, obviously. Her lash is not going to fit the same thing as him. So we're going to just do this. Now it looks like he's got eyeliner. He's so serious. Why so serious? Right? We're going to just take the opposite side here, and this allows me to be able to swap back and forth on this. So that's what I'm going to do. And this, putting this ring around the outside, permits a little bit of movement, so that when the pupil moves back and forth, it has the ability to slide behind a little bit there, and that helps us some. And left blink is going to be the same thing, except we're actually going to do this. Yeah, if he didn't look stoned before, now he looks stoned. Now he's asleep. Same thing with the blink. We want to make sure it goes all the way around the eye. And I want him to look sad-ish. So I'm going to give him that. Okay. Turn the blink off, blink on, blink, blink. Okay, good. And we're going to take the entire left eye and we're going to move it because it's actually not in the right spot. There. What I want to know is what's over here. Okay, so we've got one working eye. Now, the question is, his pupil. See, now see how I can move his pupil around and it won't exit out like it's been doing, which is, because it's underneath that lash effectively. The question really is, though, should I give him highlights like that? That just wakes him up a little, makes him look a little bit more alive, more real. It's interesting how much putting those just the pupil highlights in helps make him look not, dead. So, all right. Then we're going to do the right eye, do the same thing. All right, I'll wipe that all out. You know what? Before I put this in, let's move it because that eye is way off, like spot there. So let's go ahead and move it. And again, it has something. It's got shadow. Is that on the lash? It is. Okay, good. We can get rid of that. There we go. Now, this eye looks bigger than the other eye. So I'm not sure why, other than was having issues with it. I don't know. We'll have to see. So we're going to do this again. Work right here. I'm just going to go in here and just around the edge. Better. Trying to make it match over here is kind of difficult. So, but not impossible. And we'll go ahead and do the finish work here. I'm going to see he's kind of got his sad eye going here. It's kind of sad. It's also somewhat down like so. So everybody needs more stress on the top, even the guys, right? Because like this eye looks terrified still. So we'll have to go in there and fix it. But first, we've got a couple of other things we're doing that we need to worry about. Like our blink, right? Here's our blink. And to make sure that we make them match, I'm going to turn on the blink on the other side because we really need this blink to match. The first thing, though, is this. We know we don't want it. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys are bored of me working on this puppet. I'm pretty bored of working on this puppet. And one thing we want to make sure is we turn the face off. And the reason we do that, we want to see whether we've covered everything on this blink, right? It's like if we were to turn off the lash, I can see something moving, right? But I don't see anything major, so I think we're okay. I don't believe there we go, much better. So sort of more like this, where it's milder in design. All right, turn that face back on. He's got all these mouths, but the mouths don't need to necessarily be anywhere. They're fine. And part of this is that I feel like, poor guy, I feel like his head and everything is like way off center. So I'm going to take his head in general and move it back over like so. So we're looking at his eyes and whether they are centered on this, because we're going to have to redo his face. Because I already feel like his face is off center quite a bit. So if we take a center line through the middle of his chest here, right? So maybe here-ish, middle of his neck at the clavicle. That should be between his two eyes. All right. So we've got some work to do. So here's us doing some work. All right. For one, you need to straighten the neck up like so. And that's the easy part. We'll need to move his hair over. And the other thing I'm noticing is, notice how much it's saying up here. That's going to show up in the animation. So I want to make sure that I trim everything. So when we there, that's all we should get for this. Now, and we go back to the head. And we're going to fix this face. Ugh, brutal. That's a face that only a mother could love. All right, what you know, I often thought was pretty much true of me. But my mother loved me. It was fine. There we go. Not as remarkably hard as I thought it would be. Now he doesn't look quite as wonky as he did before. Line his mouth back up. There we go. Now he looks better. Okay, so with this, let's bring it back in. Look at that. He looks a lot better, right? And we know he's been removed from the scene. So let's go on ahead. We've made the scene mad. Okay. So I managed to get good control over her, and I can actually control her hand from this puppet point. So she can look at this. What are you looking at? And I can control like her body movements with my head. So tilting my head like this or tilting my head like this. And I usually set the rest pose like this. So then I can have her sitting up and nodding. And I can control the puppet with my head. So she can lean forward and lean back. And then, look at the paper. Here's the paper. So I've got a certain amount of control over this puppet, which works really well. Now we're going to bring in Bill into the scene. And he's floating, as I expected he would be. But he needs to be underneath here. And the big thing is, I think he's pointable. So let's go on ahead and do some tag fixes. For one, we know that here we're going to need to tag in some things, right? His hips, for one, need to be pinned. So we're going to pin the hips in. Okay, so they're pinned. And I don't know if that'll fix this drifty problem. It does. Look at that. So now he's not moving, which is fine. We just need to now move him to the right location in the scene. So we'll move his position X. It needs to be far enough away, but we've got some parallax on him. That's good. The face is a little bendy, more bendy than I want it to be. So we'll work on that in a second. But we are worlds better right now than we've been before. I can increase this parallax strength up to let's say 400. And now you can see we get a little bit of a twist with his face. So now he can look like this and then look at her. I don't know where you're looking, but I can get control of him. There we go. Better. Much better. And since he knows what I'm saying, he can kind of open his mouth correctly, which is good. A couple of things we need to work on. Eyebrows do not move together in mine because I like to do weird expressions like this. And I like to do the drum, 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 drum. It's probably funnier than it needs to be. Okay. The thing I need to do now is go fix why his head is screwed up like it is. And a lot of it has to do with where his head is. Where's your head, boy? connected to the different pieces. Right, so we're going to do that. That's the hair. Okay. So I talk about his hair, which is right here. We're going to do a couple things. I'm going to add some dongles. Okay. And then I'll make the back of his hair wiggle a little because he's got a mullet. And I feel for the guy. I once had a mullet too. I'm just saying. Just saying. Neck says neck. Hips say hips. And I'll put the hips down lower so everything moves in a correct way. And I'll see if these guys are, if I can put fixed on there, if that works. I don't know. Torso should say torso, but doesn't. It's all right. That's the body centered piece. I guess I can't actually rename it. That's fine. Okay. The bangs, we're going to put a couple of dangles on as well. And that's because that way his hair can flippy floppy. Right, here's the origin point of his flippy floppy hair. So everything's going to flippy floppy off of this origin point. That's important. Okay, so right eyebrow is correct and assigned properly. Left eyebrow is correct and assigned properly. Nose is correct. The eyes are assigned properly. All of the face. I take the ears out of the equation. And go back into the scene. Still feeling like he's cheating on the homework. That's what he's doing here. Okay. It's bending still on his face more than I want. So let's figure out what's going on there. We're getting closer, guys. Like, I can't seem to get the chair to stop being weird, but that's okay. We'll get there. Okay. I'm going to take the torso, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to fix a point right here on the torso. I feel like that's an error. Let's take that out. We're going to go to the hips and fix a point right here. Because these are two separate layers, and they should be moving independently, and I don't know why they're not. So we'll figure that out. Right. The hips, I thought we had them assigned. No, that's a fixed point is what it's looking at there. And it's not the hips itself. The hips are correctly assigned. Okay. The body's origin point should be here. And the torso's origin point should be here. There. Make sure the neck is correctly aligned. I'm going to turn off this and turn on this so I can see whether we have the right pieces going the right way. It's time to take a quick break. Okay. Oh, man. That's good because I need to stand up. And so do you. We all should stand up at this point. All right, everybody. Let's stand up. Okay. And stretch. Oof. Go for a walk. Walk over here. We'll walk back over here. Looks nice. All right. And we're back. And we have the secret to the air shield. All right. Back to work for us. I follow Doug Drexler on Facebook, and he's a fella who does or has worked for a long time on various shows, Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. Now he's working on For All Mankind. And I've been watching him for a while, and he's such a, it started out with him being just a Trekkie. Almost have we're really close. Look at this. So we've got it. Let me reset the pose. We've got him now where his head can turn just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And all I need to do is just get the gumminess out of his neck. You can see how close we are to this now. We're getting very, very close. I think we're at just a couple of things need to still be somewhere here. So we're almost there, Ghost Hand. We're almost there. So anyway, following Doug Drexler, and today he posted a whole bunch of shots of the Pegasus Bridge from Battlestar Galactica. And I'm like, oh. And I was back to thinking about the concept that we need to come up with of the universe and the structure and the design of a world. And I'm going to have to go into that, and we're going to start that next week because this will be done. We'll have to go into that when we start working with Bellatrix Rising. What does the world look like? Is it dark? Is it bright? Is it red? Is it blue? Is it green? Is it chartreuse? Is it plaid? We have to think these things out and kind of get to that concept. So there you go. Okay, so it looks like everything is working. I just have a little bit too much push right here. And I feel like his face is... I don't think I want it to be independent, because if it's independent, it separates. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's give it an independent line and take a look and see what happens. See, that's not bad, actually. Although his ears are disconnecting now. But his face is correct. It's just his ears. Let's go on ahead then and fix the ears. and see if that helps us any. Almost. Oh, I left an ear on him. And it would be comedic, except that it's, comedic. So it's like, woo. I didn't notice before that there is still an ear on his face, so we're going to have to work on that. Okay, so now we have parts that are not connected. His face is working right, but it's moving very far off of the line here. So I'm trying to decide, is it really that his face just needs to be... Oh yeah, I love that too. I mean, oh, fine. We need to go all the way back here. The question is, should these be back contents? Where'd that ear come from? Very strange. Okay, so I'm looking at the structure of this guy. Let's see if that helps. The ears are front going. Looks like I'm losing internet connectivity again. That's frustrating and annoying. All right, so the thing I'm going to have to worry about now is figuring out how to get this, because clearly part of the problem is that it looks awesome, but it moves too much. But if I turn that off, then he's all squishy and I get the extra ear. And this is a little too much squish. I don't want the squish here. I actually liked it when his chin was separated. I'm trying to decide which is the worst. With this, it disconnects at his neck. The question really is, can I just hold it together and be nice long enough for it? You're right, he's secretly made out of marshmallow. The problem is his ears don't move with him, per se. I've got a lot of it. I could probably try to be just good. I don't know. First of all, why are the talk contents that way? I don't think the mouth should be that way. Let's see if that lines up everything. So now his mouth is at least going to stay on his face. That's an important thing. But I still have bendy neck syndrome. His hair does move. Where? All right. So we're trying to figure out what's going on. Oh no. Okay. So the question is, can we just leave it like this? Do you think it's good enough that we could at least get the animation rolling and at least record it? Because the other thing we're going to need to do is put his eyeballs on a dragger so I can drag them. That's a lot of control on here. So let's go ahead and go back into the character. Should the nose be independent? Why is the nose independent? Did that change anything? Because I'm not getting a pivot. This is a problem with the neck somewhere along the line, I can tell. Yeah, I put the ears over here, but I'm feeling like they really should be in the top components. I feel like if I'm careful, I can just record this. If I can record it, we're done. And this is done. Wonder if I can just move it here. They're still on the torso layer, but they're on the body. Wonder if that's going to bork the entire thing. Let's see. Well, we have this extra ear. But if you look, it actually looks like the rest of them is sort of working right. With the exception of the fact that I have an extra ear, we actually may have fixed our problem. I just don't know where that extra ear is coming from. It's the final front ear. I have a left ear, we have a right ear, and we have a final front ear. Okay, so we're getting better. The parallax is not working. So I'm going to need to go in and lock down his nose, because that's apparently what was causing the parallax. Okay, so yeah, so we can turn now. And interestingly, the ears are going the wrong direction. Very interesting. That means we can reverse those, though. So because there is a parallax function under the physics things. No, maybe not. Oh, hey. That's what we should do. We don't need this behavior. It doesn't need that, but the hair does. So we'll add the physics to it. We'll add dangle. There we go. Give me a little bit more dangle. You know, babe. We'll go up to the front and do the same thing. We'll add the physics function to it. And we'll go on ahead and add the dangle. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. He's got a little bit of movement going for him. It's not bad. I don't know where that extra ear is coming from, though. And it's weird because it looks like it's part of his neck. Shouldn't be stretching like that, but it looks like it's missing pieces of his ear in a way. And I'm not sure what's causing that, but we're getting a lot closer. The puppet is somewhat under control, at least. He's stretchy, but he's getting there. Okay. We'll go to the neck and we'll put in some physics on this guy. Huh. And we will say, is this where I can say that I don't want you to be stretchy? He's got a stiff neck. You know what? I understand. Better. So not as squashy, which is fine. Although I still feel like it's still doing the same thing. But I still got this extra ear. Where is that coming from? And the ears, for that matter, are going the wrong direction. Please don't kill me, wife. I meant it to be good. Okay. Okay, well, I have to figure out where that ear came from. I have to figure out where the parallax isn't working. And then we're done. Doesn't it seem like every time we solve one problem, we gain like two more? Seems like it, doesn't it? All right. the back contents to do that. Alrighty. Left ear. Head turner? Nope. Kind of cool, but nope. Okay, do we have errors on this? We have a lot of things errored. No draggers or handles with required tags to be found. Remove the behavior if not needed. There's not a dragger on here, is there? Where's the dragger? I feel very much that. All right, we're going to take the origin point. And when I move the origin point of this guy, it's going to end up down here. But I don't see the handle being I don't see it under a dragger. Yeah, I'm going to remove that. Handle tag is left hip. It's not being used by any. Okay. Layer tag is left blink is not being used by any behaviors. It's being used by left blink. I mean, I could put auto blink on there. No, see, now, all I do is, this is why I hate programming languages. Come on. It's not being used by anything. There's no behaviors. Add behavior. There's no behavior. This behavior doesn't do anything. Okay, see, I'm just not sure what to think about you guys. What I do want is in here, we're going to take the eye gaze and we're going to take it off of camera and put it in the mouse. I do notice that only one of his eyes is like working correctly. I still feel like that's his old ear. I mean, we're getting a little bit better, but my parallax is not working like I want it to. I'm afraid that if I put these guys back on the back, That's part of it right there. I don't need them to be changing size. So, but a couple of things. Let's go back in here and make sure that under this guy here we have, first of all, let's fix a couple of things. One, his left eye has reflections in it, but his right eye does not. So, go into his right eye, turn off the blink, and go in here to this guy. Right. We're just going to, real quickly, not do anything, apparently. All right. Right pupil. That just makes him look a little bit more awake. He's alive. He looks real. That's one thing. That's a thing we can fix. So we did. The next thing is, let's go to, the face doesn't have any ears on it. But if we turn off, no, I'm not seeing any ears on his hair either. Well, you're going to do a couple of things. One, this guy can go up here quite a bit and then not be as big of a problem, and then it won't weirdly disconnect when it moves behind him quite a ways. Because this is totally behind the face, so it won't matter. You won't be able to see it, but we're going to make it so that it is completely sealed in. In fact, we should turn off the neck just to double check and make sure everything is good. Do the same thing. We're just going to bring in the highlights of his hair here. And we're just making it roundish like this. And that way, he looks like he's got a mustache. This way, when it tilts around, it's not going to look so weird. All right, we'll put the face back on. We're going to go into each ear here because I've got this weird feeling that something's not right. Ah, look at that. Aha! Now I know what happened. The left ear has both ears. Okay, let's fix this problem. Mike, there's got to be some reason why this is happening. There is. All right. While we're over here on the left ear, let's go ahead and just extend it all the way in. That way, it doesn't look so strange when it pops out so far. We'll get that squared away as to why it's popping out, but let's get the art figured out first. Because I can always, there's a multitude of sins that we can cover with art, good art being done correctly. So as long as the ear stretches all the way in, we're not going to have a real problem. Right? All we're doing here is just making it so that if this ear sticks out too far, we still don't think it looks that strange. So we're going to do that. And it goes over here a little bit like so. And up on here like so. Now we'll put the final front ear on. That's where this extra ear came from. And just darken in that. We'll do the same thing we just did over here, except on this ear. One of the biggest problems and the reason why I've been having such issues with this is A, there aren't that many people who actually know this program. But B, and so it's like very difficult to find tutorials online and things like that. All I really end up finding is the same fella who has been working at Adobe doing this job for a very long time. And though he is extraordinarily good at explaining things, I have to be able to come up with what it is that I'm looking for. So, I have to know what to look for. Looking for problems with parallax is something I can actually Google. A lot of the problems that I've had in this program are problems with the widget and the snurglblats. And I mean, like, there's no word for it. I don't know what the word is. So I can't Google it. And that's been part of what's been killing us for a while now on this. The other thing we're going to do is go up here on his hair, like his main face. His face. Right, we're going to close that. Is it the face? It is the face. We're going to go into the face. We're going to fix a few things too while we're here. Now he is turning slightly to the side like this because he's looking at his wife. So we want, to some degree, it's going to be okay that he has hair on this side, but not on this side. That'll be fine. But let's go ahead and turn off the bangs because I'm seeing dots and bleeps all over the place, and let's kill those. Make sure that they're not involved in this. So there we go. What we're doing here is just cleaning up this puppet. We want the puppet to look nice and pretty for the show. Here. Making it look nice. There we go. I turn his bangs back on. Everything looks like it lines up. Okay, I've done damage to the hair back here, so let's go on ahead and fix that. There we go. Ping. Thanks, Raj. Roger's helping me figure out when Di finally died. And the Di meetings were at the old Japanese animation club here in Colorado that went from about the mid 80s, like 1982, give or take, to 2008, 2009. I don't know. So I asked Roger, I said, hey, Raj, because you were the last president, do you remember when that club, the last club meeting was? And he's like, yeah, we finally gave up on it at a certain point. I have to go look for it. So that's fine. You do you, Raj. Do a good job. For the convention that I work every year, I am responsible for the history. You know what? I keep reaching for my mouse. Okay. It should be cleaned up now. Let's see what it looks like in scene. Better. Now, we're still having the same rigging issues with the parallax going the wrong way, but I can fix the parallax, which is good, because I can make the parallax. Once we figure out what's going on with the parallax, it should be easy. And what I don't get is why I don't get control of his eyes. But I do have a good control of his head. So let's Google it. We'll just Google it real quickly, right over here. Bring up Google work. And we will Google the heck is going on here. Character animator reverse parallax. Right? Because we need to no, because we just need parallax. Naturally, the only answer is a 31-minute YouTube video. Naturally. Because that makes total sense. And this is part of the problem that I've been having the entire time. The only knowledge base is coming from Adobe. And they've changed this so radically, I can't use any knowledge base older than, say, a year, because the rigging setup is completely different. They've just renovated the entire thing. So I'm going to have to watch a 30-minute video to find out how to fix my parallax issue. Right? And that's what's going to happen. So there's no way around it. So probably what I'm going to do is just drop out early today, because this needs to be done, and this needs to be done like right away. So I probably will drop out a little early today, give everybody an early lunch so that I can watch this silly YouTube video. It's the only problem I have with these the YouTube video world, is that you have to disrupt your entire universe for it. And I know that that's just me being Gen X. And since I'm Gen X, it's always like, but this is the way I grew up. I get it. but it is still tough. Anyway, we've done well here, and I think everything is good. So let's see. Yeah, it is. It's rough. But this guy needs to be done today, and and really honestly, if I can offer animation as part of my things that I can do for my real estate agent guys, that's a very big plus. And once I learn how to rig this, it won't be so difficult. It's just difficult now. And that's frustrating, but it's not insurmountable. So that's all right. Tomorrow we'll have Pepper on the show. My pink, he finished my pink yesterday. It's beautiful. Then he made this really neat kind of battleship blue, which is also kind of cool. But they're not going to be dry until like Monday, so I won't get them until next Wednesday's Watercolor Wednesday. But that's okay. We got them made, and they're drying even as we speak, and that's cool. So anyway, that's a good thing. This week sort of ended up being kind of a loss on a lot of Lightrix Rising stuff, because we just got to buckle down and do this animation. But the animation's working 90%. So we're getting better and better and better on this, and it works, and it's fine. So what we will do is this will be done today, because all I've got to do is fix this parallax problem, and really, frankly, it's good to go. Once he stops with the ears going the same direction as the eyes, we'll be able to get a lot of this stuff down to just a fine. You know what? I actually just had an idea. Let's go back here real quickly. Let's see, because his ears here are in the body. But what if I move them back? Because they were in the body, but suppose I moved his ears back to the back again. Where is that back compared to the body? Right? Because that might be it. Let's see. Or I might really bork it. No, it's still going the same direction. That's a bummer. Although it is better, to be fair. I'm going to smooth this a little bit more. Now, it doesn't matter where I go. It's not going to make his face bigger or smaller. Whereas I really do like the idea of him being able to tilt his head like this. It makes it much better. And I can now really talk. But you can see that there's a lot more movement and expression once I get this straightened out. So if I can just figure this out, we'll be able to get a lot more out of this. There we go. And it allows a lot more expression if I can just do a little bit more. The parallax is almost actually acceptable at this point in time. I need to be able to control those eyes, though. And as soon as I click over here, his eyes literally go the other direction. So we've got two problems that we're still working on. One, why does the parallax still go the same direction? That's going to be something I'm just going to have to watch that 30-minute video, and there's nothing I can do about it. But two, why is it his eyes don't go somewhere else? But I can make him extremely expressive already. You see, he's already very expressive. So this allows me to do a lot more with him than I was able to do before, which is good. I'm noticing also she doesn't have actually her freckles on here, which is kind of sad because she's got freckles in the other scene when we're in this scene. She has freckles. So we have to kind of figure out what's going on with her freckles. But I do love the hair. Look at the hair. Ooh. Okay, I'm easily entertained. Okay, I do feel like the only thing I've got left that I have to do here is actually try to figure out what's going on with the parallax, which is going to require that video. So I don't want to watch a video with you guys online with me, but we did manage to fix one problem there. And I'm trying to figure out whether it's functional. I don't know how to figure something out, but we can at least do something like this. Are you sure, honey? Are you sure, honey? See, you can kind of do with just a little bit of acting and be gentle with the expressions. Everything can work really well. Wonder if I can, I know I can set it so that if I go too far over though, boy, he gets weird looking, doesn't he? Okay, so there's a level to my parallax that I can go to, and that's about it. But it's like everything. A small amount of subtlety doesn't hurt us at all. And I can do things like, I'm thinking of doing certain things, you see. And the parallax actually makes it work. It sells this pretty well. Okay. Yeah, we're getting closer. Yeah. Okay. So let's go on ahead and turn the ring camera back on. Okay, guys, I'm going to go watch this video. I will see you all tomorrow, and we will talk some more about what we did today and what we did all week. Hopefully, I'll have some time tonight to do some star charts and things like that. That'll be nice. I am going to have to probably shut down a little bit today because I didn't do so well last night. I'm having problems with cramps in my legs, and they're killing me. I think what we really have is a pinched nerve in my back. So I'm trying to stand up more, and I think the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy a lectern, just your normal lectern, and I'm going to put this thing on a lectern so I have to stand at it. I think that's probably the right answer. So there's that. I also need to get some kind of control panel over here that controls OBS so that I can switch back and forth between my monitors, so that I don't have to keep switching back and forth. So we'll figure it all out. It's all possible. Everything's possible. So it's just a matter of getting all of the parts moving. So, okay. Thank you for joining me today, Ghost Hand. I think it was just you and me today, which is fine. I didn't even see any lurkers, although there might have been. Not the count up here doesn't, or count right there that you can't see, doesn't always accurately reflect who's there. But either way, I always appreciate you, and I appreciate having you with me, keeping me company today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I know that the temperature's starting to get colder down there, but it's still Brazil, so it's not going to be horrible. I guess it does snow a little, probably, but not in the mountains, probably. Anyway, I will talk to you later, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow. And for anybody who might be lurking, keep your eyes on the stars, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Computer, good night.